Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Alright, now so we can just go ahead and start writing our own backend code. Alright, so just go ahead and open up your files, alright, or your project in the Visual Studio Code right over here. And if we look up over here, you can see that I actually opened this just as an HTML file, despite the fact it's actually inside the htdocs right over here. So I just want to go ahead right here in order to open this as a server file, not just HTML. So I'm gonna go local host / and then I'm just going to click enter, and as you're seeing, it's opening up just like it's in a server file. Okay, because of course this is not HTML, this is backend code, so it needs to be handled on the server. So if we look up over here, the first and foremost and most important thing that we need to get started with is the config file, and this will handle every request or every query that we are going to do with the database. Alright, so in order to do this, I'm just gonna create first of all a folder. I'm gonna call it config. Alright, and I'm going to create file inside it, and I'm going to call it maybe config right over here, or maybe I'll call it connection. You can just call it db, well, however you like. I'm just gonna call it config.php. Alright, so now we can write our own PHP. So I'm just gonna go ahead, PHP, or we don't even need this. If you don't want to write it, that's fine. So if I go up over here, we need 4 credentials in order to connect with our own database, and you already know this if you already worked with PDO. Alright, so we're gonna need, well, first of all, the local host. So let me go local, and second of all, we need the DB name equal to, maybe we'll call this as the name of the project, which is job board. And after that, we need the user, and it's almost always root, and then the password, and this might be different on your end, I don't know, but mine is nothing. Alright, so now we need to just do some kind of object, and this will be connection like this. And now we need to we need to call the PDO class, so we can actually grab an object from it, or grab an instance from it. So we can go PDO, or actually new PDO, and now we need to go ahead and set the type of our database. And the type of our database, it's mysql. Of course, there is a lot of databases that you can use with PDO, you know, Postgres, SQL Server, anything like that, CouchDB, it can work, but we are working with mysql, of course. Alright, and after that we need the host, which is equal to the host right over there, and after that semicolon, and we need a DB name, and this is going to be set to DB name, and we need the third parameter to be the user, and the last parameter, it's going to be the password. So it needs 4 parameters at least in order to work. So a simple test is to go ahead and check if this connection is already set up, if we have our own 4 variables right over here, and if this whole thing worked. So the first thing for testing, we can go connection is equal to or identical to true, and maybe it will echo out something if it's true, like connected successfully. That's a lot of S's. So maybe that's it. And if we're not connected, we are gonna go echo error. So maybe that's it for now. If we save this, go ahead right over here, and now we are in our road right over here. If you look, we go inside the folder and we go config, and if we go slash config.php, let's check what we got. So as you're seeing right over here, of course it says unknown database job board because we did not create this database just yet, and it's in line 14. So if we go and try to access PHP my admin, and if we try to create this database, let's see what we get, if we have any other errors. Let's see. Alright, so if we do new, of course we can write this through the SQL, but this will take too much time. So if we have this option, why don't we just use it right away? So we're gonna go job board, which is the name of the database that I already set up here. You can copy it if you want, paste, create. Now let's say, and here it is. If you can't see it, here it is. It's completely empty. All right, so if we actually go right over here and refresh this, you can see connected successfully. So we're connecting to our own database, but I want to like keep things a bit neat, so I want to like do a couple stuff. So I want to try like do a try catch block. This will be better if I go up over here and paste this, and if I go down over here, catch, if I go PDO exception. All right, so we're setting this class right over here, which is one of the PDO classes. There's 3 PDO classes. One is this and the second is this, and we're taking an object from it, and if we have any errors, we are gonna like trigger this object right over here. So we're gonna trigger this message, get message. All right, so again, what we're doing right over here, we're telling our code to try this. All right, and if it failed, we are gonna trigger an except. We're gonna like catch an exception right over here, and we are gonna trigger this method from inside this object that we already took from this class, which is the PDO class. So it will display a cool little message if we miss anything up. So if we save, refresh, you can see that the connected, of course, is gone. But I'm guessing that everything is working perfectly. We can go a little more with this, and we can try video error mode, and if we look up over here at the first link, which is the php.net, so if you look up over here, you can see that this line right over here. So sorry, my door was knocking, I had to get it. So if we look up over here, we grabbed, where was our line? Yeah, there is our line. We need to grab this, and I'm going to explain it. So if we look up over here, we actually need this because this is our object. Need to like paste this right over here, and if we save, so let's read about this a bit. You can read about it. So we're basically going for this method, which is a PDO method, and we can trigger it since we actually have this object right over here. We can trigger this method, right, and we're giving it a PDO attribute error mode, and for PDO error mode we're giving it an exception. So this will basically blow up our own script. This will stop everything if there is anything that's wrong with our database credentials, and it will point a finger at it. Alright, so you can read this about this in a lot more details if you look up over here. But just know that this will give us a little cool message if we actually have anything wrong with our own database credentials. So if we save this, go up over here and refresh, you can see everything is still the same, so that means it's working. So if we actually, let's mess up, let's set a password despite the fact that we don't have any password. So let's save this. If we refresh, you can see there is our own message right over here. You can see it's a lot different, and it's a lot better looking than the last message. Right, so if we look over here, access denied for user blah 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 using password yes. Alright, so let's try and mess up something else. Maybe we'll write this as db, or let's actually write some gibberish. We save, let's refresh. You can see this is actually looks very different and looks a lot better than the other message that we got from a couple of minutes when we did not have our own database. Alright, so you can see how cool that is. Alright, so here is our own database. If we save and refresh, you can see that everything is working perfectly. And yeah, that's it for this video.
For more updates, subscribe to our channel, click the show links and enjoy watching the videos.